I didn't have the visa for all those countries.
Most interesting, fascinating.
Iran, in Iraq, and Afghanistan, all by car.
How did you rebel basically?
I stopped to go to the church.
Nowadays people have that much freedom also, but they are not trying.
Lost the passport twice. Afghanistan was a place where people were enjoying themselves, giving a lot of gifts.
And changed you from inside.
You need a certain dress code to enter into those places.
What are the core philosophies you are right now living with?
The moment you realize that everything is as it should be, you become a Buddha.
And how was it working with MF Hussain?
MF Hussain was like a child. He was enjoying.
What was their reaction when you said you actually want to go back to India again?
They was not expecting me to stay for the entire life.
Yeah.
I also was not expecting.
So what do you think dance reveals about a person's psychology?
You are open to what the experience is offering.
People want to get accepted or appreciated.
Because I was different and the people was accepting me.
What was your journey in achieving that peace?
It was a surrender.
How was it when you heard about the Padma Shri? But I would like to start from your book name only. You have written a book, A Tale of Two Births. What are the two births basically? First, I want you to explain and let others know what are your two births you talked about in that book. And the second question in that is like, do you believe in the third birth? Because the two births you had, it's been a journey of yours. So beyond that, beyond your artistic culture, beyond your artistic life, beyond Odissi and everything you have done, do you believe there's a third birth of yours also?
No, I don't know. Maybe if it will happen, then I will know. The second birth it happened, so I can talk about that. I don't know about the third one.
Okay, so what was your first birth you talked about, like in this?
Now the first birth is a real birth in Italy, long ago, and second birth is because when I came here, I had to start all over again.
Yeah.
To learn a language, to learn the gesture, to learn how to walk in the new dance, which I was in the technique that I was learning, but also the ambience was totally new, and so yeah, a lot of things had to be relearned.
Yeah, you have talked about in your TEDx that it was a 1 month journey you took, and it was quite an experience for you to see in your younger times and experience the world around, because you mentioned that nowadays youth or young people don't do that actually. They are just in their comfort zone sitting and not trying to explore the world which is there. You grew up in Bergamo, if I'm not wrong, in Italy, and you are from a politically family and you have done theater there also. But coming from there and choosing a new entire life, tell us about that. And I would like to know especially about your childhood.
Yeah, it was a very normal childhood, in a sense, very family type.
Okay.
Because my parents were very traditional and very Catholic, very religious. My mother was working, father was working, so maybe I missed a little bit their presence, especially the mother presence.
Yeah.
So for me, the place where I was really happy, it was in my grandmother village.
Okay.
And that's why also the second birth, because the atmosphere which was there in Cuttack when I reached in 79 was reminding me of my grandmother village. Those kind of dimension, very small things, and very closeness of the people, and so Cuttack atmosphere was reminding me a little bit of my grandmother village, which were Villongo, the name. So that is the best part of my childhood. I remember it there. And then, of course, I remember also that my parents had sent me to dance class, classical dance, ballet. Okay. But I had to terminate it after 3 years. I was good in the class, I remember, because my teacher was always calling me when some visitors were there to show something. Yeah. So I was good, but it didn't didn't strike to them that maybe that would have been my future,
Yeah.
the dance. So then I was crying whenever I was seeing some dance in the TV or something, and then I was going to my room and cry. But I didn't have the. My father was very strict and authoritarian. So then my dancing stopped. So then long after that, when I went to Liceo and I started to be part of the student movement, the feminist movement and all these things. Then I started my rebellion and stopped to go to church. And
How did you rebel basically?
yeah, I stopped to go to the church. Got the enrollment in the Communist Party, which was the opposite party from where my father was.
The opposite. You just chose like to rebel your father. You just chose them.
Yeah, so the 70s was the time in which the student movement happened
Yeah.
in Europe. And I was very much part of it.
This is very interesting. Doing the opposite things, because we usually do that in those period of time when you are going to college or being rebellious to parents is very natural.
Yeah.
Because you think they don't know about you much and they don't know, they are not thinking good of you. You know the best. So do you also feel that like nowadays you teach a lot of students and you are surrounded by a lot of students, when you say something to them, do you also think back and in retrospect that, oh, like my father was saying something to me, I was being rebellious, so now you see children, so how's like that?
Yeah, I do. Yes. Yeah, because I have to accept that at their age it is required.
Yeah. So you talked about a lot of things and being in a movement. At that time, it's not very easy to digest for me because I was not born there at that time. My father was born at that time. So we have heard that technology was not that great as it is right now. So when was that first moment you heard about India or the classical dance of India?
No, classical dance much later. Faster India. At that time, there was always, as a part of this rebellion, there were a lot of literature which we were going through, and the authors like Hermann Hesse, Jack Kerouac. So we were reading those books, and India was it was a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
So the first time I came by road.
Yeah, that's the one I want to talk about. What was that experience? Can you tell us like a most interesting, fascinating, or funny story you had in that journey, or you saw in that journey?
I never crossed desert before that.
Yeah.
And I had traveled by hitchhiking in Europe, but the Iran, in Iraq, and Afghanistan, all by car. And every day we were sleeping in that van. So when I was waking up, I was seeing that vastness of horizon. So I realized what it is an horizon during that traveling. Sometimes I didn't have the visa for all those countries. Every time we were doing the visa on the spot.
On the spot.
I think I had only the Indian visa. And then in Afghanistan, it was a real magic country. It was before the occupation of Russian occupation, before the Taliban, before everything. And even it was 74, so before Iran-Iraq war.
Wow.
So the borders were open, and there was no. After a few years, it would not have been possible. It would have been a lot
there were a lot of checkpoints, and
so Afghanistan was a place where people were enjoying themselves, giving a lot of gifts to I don't know, very simple life, and nobody was interested in doing too much business or anything. Even if you go in a shop, they will entertain you, take out a mandolin, start playing, give some green tea. So maybe they were selling things, but nobody was really
interested
focused on just making money. So it was just a very friendly type of atmosphere. And then I crossed the border, I came to India, and it's a very, very steep road which goes to Lahore, and then from there to Peshawar, and then Amritsar. So when the entry first, I went to Meghwanshi because I knew about, I had studied a little bit about Indian art. And I went to Nepal, I stayed for 2 months. Then I went to south a little bit. I came down to Badami, Aiole. I don't know why, because I remember I had done an examination on Indian art, so I remember those names. Then Goa,
How was
Juna Beach.
Goa?
So I really did all the things which were supposed to be done in those years. Lost the passport twice. Everything happened as it should have been. So, and some friends had already come and gone back. So people were already telling to the next people who would go to this pilgrimage. They will tell you, see, this will happen. You'll get diarrhea. You'll get a passport lost. So it belonged to something which it was part of the folklore of those years. It was an experience every time, even the first Arati, which I saw, I think it was in Khajuraho or something, one of the temples. It was a reaction to the color, to the smells, to the chanting, it was an experience of that type.
Different atmosphere.
Yeah, and then the second time when I came, it was by flight, and I went to learn Kathakali in Kerala. So the first experience was to be done like this, discovering day by day, without
adventurous.
Planning. Yeah, without planning, nothing was planned.
Perfect.
Only day by day, you just live whatever experience it
Every
comes.
morning you are deciding something new.
Yeah, every day you are open to what the experience is offering.
I think this is the best. Recently, me and one of my friends also went to Uttarakhand. So we went on a 6-day trip, and we decided we won't plan anything. We'll just wake up morning, and whatever comes to our mind, we'll just do that. And it was a very refreshing experience, because nowadays you are finding spots where to go, trying to ask Google
Had you booked the hotel?
Yeah, no, we also didn't book hotel. We were just going there, asking the people, where is the hotel? What is the hotel?
Yeah.
So it was that
is the way.
Human connection, because the moment you talk to them, they also tell something. They give you insights, because you are traveling through Google. It is just an information which people have fed there. But if you're talking to their local people, they'll tell you something.
You can imagine now you can decide not to see the Google, but at that time,
you don't have any option.
Nothing was existing.
So it was a very adventurous journey, and at that time you did. So kudos to that to you, because nowadays people have that much freedom also, but they are not trying and not experiencing. And I have seen you have mentioned traveling is a very essential part of your youth or your life, basically, because it teaches you a lot of things. So what are the core lessons you learned from traveling and exploring all the places?
In fact, that book, My Journey, A Tale of Two Worlds, I have written every page, any page, I've always written while traveling. I never wrote once while I was
sitting
somewhere. So because all this long journey in the train with my musician for the performances, we were traveling. So with my small computer, every time during the traveling, I was
used to write.
Either in the flight or in the train or every time while traveling. Never when I reach a place, then again,
whenever you
take
should
it
travel.
Out when I will shift, when I move. But, traveling naturally is part of that particular phase of your life when and traveling in this way, because apart from the long trip which I did to India, but also I was traveling in Europe by hitchhiking, and maybe some destination would have been there. Maybe there was a concert. I liked very much the classical music, Mozart, or in Salzburg.
Yeah.
And we'll decide with my friend, we'll go and hitchhiking there. Then we will not be able to enter, because when you reach there and you find out that you need a certain dress code to enter into those places. We were not fitting in that. So, but it was an experience, and then
wonderful.
You sleep on the benches, you sleep in the parks, whatever.
Living in very adventurous life, and it sounds amazing. You talked about philosophy, and you have mentioned a lot about philosophy. So, it's very intriguing for me. I really want to know about that also. What are those philosophies you read or you listened which intrigued you and changed you from inside?
Inspire me and influence me. It was Carl Gustav Jung. He's not actually a philosopher, he's a psychoanalyst. Although Jung was a student of Freud, but then he went on its own.
Okay.
So his psychoanalysis has a much more vast horizon, and he opened for me the door to the Eastern philosophy.
Eastern philosophy.
So because in his symbology, studying the symbols of all the different civilization and culture. So archetypes, certain things which are common, like the circle, the square, the triangle. There are certain symbols which are common to all the culture. Whereas Freud was remaining more in the Western type of mentality. So that was really, and I did the thesis on Carl Gustav Jung. My thesis was on him.
Okay.
For the PhD. To be able to merge this interest with my examinations in the university, at a certain point I had to shift from Milano, which is a university near my place in Bergamo. I had to shift to Venice because Venice had a faculty of Eastern language, and there I got some professors who were open to accept examinations on Eastern philosophy. Not at that point, at that time, it was not easy to find this kind of openness. In Milano, nobody would have accepted. Only for them, the philosophy was only in the West, only the Western philosophy. Eastern was hardly existing. So I had to shift. And Venice was really a bridge. Even when I came to India by a road, on the road, it was in Venice, which it was this by Orient Express, which was coming from Paris to Istanbul, Milano and Venice. The moment I crossed Venice, it was like to really go towards the east. And then of course Istanbul, I got into a van, private van, and all these things. But the Orient Express itself was a train and a journey which had a lot of tales attached to it, because Orient Express is all sorts of things could have happened on the Orient Express.
What are the core philosophies you are right now living with? Like, people have that some similar things, some things which they live for, because we all have different moral levels and moralities in our life, through which we lead our life. So what are your core philosophies or you are living with right now?
Basically, one sentence which is saving me when you are you may be disappointed or maybe down when you may not. It is one is the moment you realize that everything is as it should be, you become a Buddha. So this was a sentence which I read it, I got it, I think from some books from Osho or something. Whoa. And it's a thing which works. When you think that why this didn't happen, why I didn't get that, why I have not been selected, why then the moment you say no, everything is as it should be, and you just
Wonderful.
appreciate the things which you have without going to always trying to not being satisfied and trying to get something else.
It's been an issue with everybody asking for what they don't have, not focusing on what they have.
Yeah, and you don't realize what you actually have.
So I was reading, you mentioned Osho, so I was reading something about Osho, and there's something he said, and it was in Osho in his times was very controversial, as we all have, everybody have mentioned that. So he said that it doesn't matter it's a good habit or a bad habit. If you are in a trap of habit, you are doing something wrong and you are not happy. Be it if you are smoking cigarette or you are pleasing God with doing puja. both habits are wrong.
Wrong.
If you are indulged in that, if you want that, like your need is that, if you're doing, and it depends, and it is somewhere something like it plays with your mind in a way ki, oh, he's challenging that habit is a bad thing for you. You won't be free. The moment you become free will and you are not trapped in a habit, and you will become free. So that when I read that, I heard that something shifts. So
No, sure, I said a lot of interesting things actually. I think there is at least one for everybody.
yeah. So he was like that. So you came to India for travel and adventure, and you explored a lot. Then you went back and came for your purpose of learning the classical dance and all. So as you mentioned, your father was a very strict man, and you had a very big joint family there. So what was their reaction when you said you actually want to go back to India again to learn something? And
They was not expecting me to stay for the entire life.
yeah.
I also was not expecting. So they came after 1.5 years or so that I was not going back, and I was staying in Cuttack, and they found me totally changed, totally at peace with my, so totally different from the always that I was always searching and always in the move, always not satisfied of what, always rebellious and all these things. So they found me totally at peace with myself. They liked very much the people whom I was, they met Guruji, they liked each other very much. Then they realized that I had found what I was searching. So from that time, they came again, because for 6 years I never went back. So they came again 2 times. But the first time they came to Cuttack, and they saw my place, and I saw my people there, the room where I was staying. And so then the other twice, when they came, we met in some, we met in Goa, no, in Goa, sorry, in Bombay once. Then we met in another place, not here.
Yeah.
Then they came also after I built this house, so they saw the house. They didn't. After that, they realized that I had done the choice, which was the right one, although it was very far from whatever they had thought of and imagined about me. But probably it was convincing, because we reconciled after that. So all those, always I was, as I said, he was in one party, I was in the other party. So always, especially with my father, it was always fighting. And but from that time onward, it was a reconciliation.
The moment you talked about the peace, and everybody, like, it's a different feeling. It can feel that aura also. Like right now, when you was just saying about that and narrating that story, I could feel that how important it is to be in that peace, and knowing that you have known what you want to do, and you are now happy at a very peaceful, happy state of your mind and life. At that moment, people can also see that in you. They can also see that aura, that, oh,
Parents, I think they can.
yeah, because you generate that kind of, if you are happy and at peace, internally you are not fighting with yourself, you are not fighting any battles.
I suppose that, I suppose they must have shown.
Yeah. So how did you achieve that peace? What was your journey in achieving that peace?
No, I had surrendered. It was a surrender. So surrender to my.
Was it like, sorry to break you in that, but it is a very small word, and it's a word, that surrender, but doing that is very difficult. You are surrendering to anything. So how did you decide you want to surrender in that way? I really want to know.
You don't decide.
It just happens. What was that?
When it is the right situation, because you found the guide, the guru, and I surrendered to the guru. I surrendered to this, to another culture. I surrender. But the meeting with the guru has been determined. So, and I was lucky that I didn't have to search much. I didn't have to search. I mean, the first guru I found it was the right one, and because I was learning body physical expression, but in the physical expression immediately I could combine also the philosophical background. So when I was in Italy, those two things had remained separated. I was doing theater. Uh, it's a physical theater. I was learning how to go on stilt or street theater. I was learning how to make masks and all these things.
Yeah.
But my philosophical interest was parallel to that. It didn't. There was not the common point. Whereas here, both these things got together because this dance is not only technique, it's not only physical exercise, but you have to understand all which is behind, at the basis of that.
Yeah.
So my philosophical interest and the expression through the body, they got
aligned
together.
with that.
They get the synthesis.
Yeah, I was very intrigued by this. I wrote a question also. Like you talked about that many postures, and in the dance you found something. So what do you think dance reveals about a person's psychology? Does the body betray what the mind hides? Basically, when you're dancing, you reach a point where you stop thinking and you just let your body move and play with it. So what does it reveals about person's psychology? And
I think it reveals the way you are especially when you are on stage. At that point you can't hide anything.
Yeah.
Your attitude and your nature is coming out, and that's also why the performer is different from the other. Maybe they may perform the same item, but maybe learn from the same guru. Still there is something which is the personality is different, and it is you reveal, you just learn. You don't think about what you are and how people are seeing or not. You just immerse yourself, surrender to the art, so surrender to the dance. So you just go into the dance, practice until it become your inside you, and it becomes a spontaneous expression. Although it becomes spontaneous after acquiring a very rigorous grammar, very rigorous conventional grammar.
Yeah.
So it's so that's why the second part also, because all this has to be learned from scratch.
Yeah, you learned it from the scratch, and I really want to know it. It is difficult after a point of time to adapt entirely something new, because you have lived a life and you have seen something and you are accustomed to that particular thing. But change is the only constant we always talk about. You should keep changing, and you also mentioned there's one philosophy of your life also, that like to remember that the change will be there. But shifting from an entirely different thing, you can say it's a 360-degree change of your lifestyle, perception, and way of living and everything. So how did you get accustomed to that and get familiar with that? And I would really want to tap on that one thing, that when you came and when you were third time when you came for the dance and culture and you settled here, what was like that early days of it? Have you ever felt that lonely, or have you felt that you made a wrong decision and you should go back?
Never.
What were your
Never.
mind in what was happening in your mind?
That is why the amazing things that I never for 1 minute thought that I was doing the wrong thing. So that is amazing, because even I could have thought maybe what I'm doing here, I will succeed or not. There's any scope, any future. Never any doubt. That is quite, for me, is also, when I think about, it's quite incredible.
Genuinely, it is very...
I don't know, I totally immerse myself. I totally immerse myself, but also the Orissa and Cuttack and the atmosphere there, maybe, of course, when I say that, they reminded me of my first childhood in my grandmother's house.
So you were
and the way the people had accepted me, the fact that I was alone, it was better, because we've been much more near to the people, because maybe if we were two people, we would have been more close to each other and separated from the others. But being alone, and in Cuttack, where there were hardly any other outsider, so I was the pride of everybody that I could go to any house, be invited here and there, and so the warmth, which I got from Kathak was very important. Maybe in another, I don't know if other places would have given me the same kind of acceptance and same kind of feeling. So all together, I founded the Guru, and then that particular atmosphere of this particular special place in Kathak. So maybe it would have been the same. But the previous year when I was in Kerala, also I liked it very much. But it was a different experience. We were in a school, in a Gurukul, and we were other Italian there, and so we were looked after by this Nambudiris family. When everything was, but here nothing was prepared. Nothing. There was no Gurukul. No Gurukul means I was Guruji was there, but I didn't stay with him. So I really was outside, and the entire city, the entire place, the entire population was supporting me. So
it is very wonderful, and you're blessed with it. And touchwood, you had a very wonderful ad, because at that time, if you haven't faced any issues, and it is your initial times when you should and you must be getting that support.
Yeah, but also physical, also as far as hygienic condition was not the maximum in Kathak in 79, and still I was lucky that I didn't have any problem. Also, many people I saw they came, but then either they got sick or they got so they have to go back and all these things. So yeah, it was destiny, as they say.
Stars were aligned, I guess. You talked about your Guruji. So how was your relationship with Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra, and what do you remember? One lesson that changed you in a way, ki, when you are learning. Because I was listening to your interview and you said you were not like other girls. You used to ask questions a lot. You were like very curious about everything because you wanted to know everything, every bit of it, and wanted to understand everything. So you must have been taught a lot of things. So what some lessons and from him you can say to everybody, and which changed you also as a person?
I think that one of the main things I learned from him is to be humble, and he was, for example, he was never telling me that he was the first to have done this or the first to have done that. So it's something which I also, when I hear somebody says I was the first, I said, nobody should say that, because there was always something before which you may not be aware.
Yeah.
So don't. It's just a chain. You're just part of
it.
My Guruji was, of course, a very special person, and it was not always easy for me because I was very greedy, and sometimes he had to stop me. But he taught me whatever I know. The surrender which I was talking about was mainly not only to this culture in general, but to him first, because he was the key for me to enter into many aspects of this culture.
And that is like wonderful. He played a perfect role of a guru or a teacher everybody should do, because there's been saying if you found the right mentor, you can change your whole life. But if you are stuck with a slightly wrong mentor, it can like turn your life upside down also. Yeah. Not always every mentor is good for you, and it is aligned with you, and touchwood, you have found the perfect one. And you talked about that when you were living in Cuttack, you were only Italian, and being in a country like that. So there was a question, and a part of me which wanted to know, did you ever feel like that you had to work twice as hard from other girls or other people because you were from an outside place and you came here? So did you ever feel that to get fit in, because at that time people want to get accepted or appreciated, and
because I was different, the people was accepting me, and I was because I don't know why actually. They were also hospitable and so keen that I would go to the house, and they were giving me milk, and then they were
everything.
So it was all, the houses were open. I think this is a very special atmosphere which belongs to that particular city, which is Cuttack. But then, of course, there was some other things which were not permitted to me, like to enter into the temples or also in Guruji's house. Certain things I could not go. I could be part of the arati of the puja, but from outside the small temple. And
At that moment, how did you feel when you were like felt left out in a way?
yeah, that sometime if I was in a moment which was I was a little bit vulnerable, a little bit it would touch. But then I always had this fortune to have my mind, analytical mind, also to rescue me in those moments, and the fact that I knew that there was a culture, and this culture had a certain preconcept, because the culture also had been oppressed and suppressed by the outsider. So so I could put myself into that optic, and so I was able to understand that it was not a personal things, but it is more the clash of two culture according to the historical evolution, and but not always has been
sometimes
easy.
just few moments.
Not always has been easy. Sometimes has been also difficult a little bit, but immediately these things would work out. This changing of to become from the emotional and taking it as a personal things to shift it in a more large context.
You're not neglecting your emotional side of it. You are feeling what you're feeling, whether it's you're feeling down or you're feeling not happy, you're feeling sad. You're feeling that, but changing that particular feeling into then very analytical.
You know how to solve it.
Solve it. In a way, you're trying to see for a solution, not grieve into the problem only.
No, that to find a solution has been my strength all through. Yeah.
You have written a lot of books, and I was very keen of knowing that when did the part of writing strikes to you? When did you decided, oh, you love writing?
In the beginning, I was writing the first articles in Italian, and then I had some friend or some journalist, some people who would translate it into English. Then after some time, I started to write in English, and my English would be I would have a lot of future. I don't know, future tense.
Okay.
This will do. This will take. This will. So then slowly it became better, and then the real break came when this publisher in Delhi, very young fellow, he told me, "You are since so many years you are with Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra. Nobody has written his life. Why don't you do it?" So I had never thought about that. Up to that time, I had already written a long article about his life, and also articles about other things which had been published a little bit in magazine. But to write a book, that was he gave me the suggestion, and then when I came back to Cuttack, I told Guruji, and he was immediately very excited about the idea. Now we were already in Bhubaneswar, and. So then it started to go and ask people and to collect, to cross-check the information, and I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people which belong to. Thanks God, when I started to do this job, this work, many people were still alive. And in a few years, quite a few of them, so people of 75, 80 years old, still a lot of memory and energy. So I had the possibility to include many names in that book, which probably had not been recognized as important in the process of the Odissi revival and all this thing. So that has been, and with Guruji, I used to go at 12 o'clock in the night, because after his classes were over, I used to take my car, go there, and this period in June, July, and so it was very with almost half raining and half not. So when everybody was sleeping, then I used to take notes. So it has been. Really, the first experience to write a book is quite. And then when finally it was published, I went to show it to Guruji, and he naturally it was in English. And he didn't. He was not reading the English, but he called his wife and he went through the photos, very excited. So yes, it was. I'm very happy to have written that book. I think it is one of. And another book which I'm very happy to have written is the one on the Paiko, and that has been a very research. In these days I'm going through again. I realized how much I was on my own, taking my car, going to the Akhara in the villages and note down all the names of the Odia names of the steps, trying to make a list of all whatever knowledge. It was a little bit scattered here and there of their martial art, the Paiko or the martial artist, which was almost disappearing. And this I did it in 92, 93, 94. And so it was a seminal book. Then the book came out after few years, maybe after 10 years of my research. Now I'm writing something else on the other forms, the Tandava trails in Orissa performing arts. And I've approached, I again talk about the Paiko, but I have studied the Prahlad Nataka, which is a form from South Orissa, and the Danda dance, and Sai Jatra. So these four forms, which are the most masculine, the male forms. So that's why the Tandava, all whatever is not Lasya, whatever is not Odissi, all the rest which has been left out.
Wonderful. It's been your writing journey is also very exciting, and I hope you write a lot of books and make us know about all the cultures and everything, and more and more and more. You have won a lot of awards, as we can see, but they have been a very crucial awards which meant a lot to you. You have won national award for Aparna Sen Yoganta and worked with MF Hussain. More and more of film people. Do you see the difference of film choreography and a stage dance? Because in a film, it's a different setup, different setting. So what are the differences you see, and how was it working with MF Hussain? If you can mention, how was he as a person?
MF Hussain was like a child. He was enjoying. He was the director, but actually the son was more active in the but he has such a wonderful collaborator, because between the music composer Rehman and all were high standards, so he didn't really have to. It was a quite magic type of experience, because we had to do, for example, that time the choreography was done first in the Cinemagar, which was a studio in Hyderabad, and I had not been shown the location where the shoot would have been taken place. So the moment it went out from that house to the location, had all to be remade, the entire things, and it was to be broken up and set in different ways, and so it was an experience. You have to be prompt and be adapting to the new place, but you have to learn how to. We have this sense of symmetry, and usually you from a fixed point. You check the choreography, and you check the space, the symmetry between the. But in the dance, in the film, is not that, because it's not the center point. It is the camera point. The camera may be in
they can
places.
come from anywhere.
So that I learned to shift the angle. And also to adjust every time to actually the place where the things will be, the different levels which you may find. So I would have loved to have more experience, but I didn't. After 3-4 films, I didn't have much opportunity to continue. But I really enjoyed whatever both the Aparna Sen and Aparna. One thing I had to learn very quickly, that the dance choreography for us is the most important things, but for the director it has to enter into the plot and into the entire context of the film. So he may like to change to cut it in such a way that you don't recognize your choreography anymore. Whereas with Hussain, that film, the choreography has been highlighted. And I like it more after the editing than before.
How was it when you heard about the Padma Shri? It is a very propitious or a very honorable award anybody can get in this country, and
Yeah,
being an artist.
that was incredible. The less expected things, because I knew that my name was been recommended
Nominated for.
from Orissa,
Yeah.
but then after that, after it went to Delhi, I really didn't.
Thought
Did,
of.
didn't do anything more because I didn't know what to do. And the only things I did, I called Kapila Vatsayan. That time she used to like me because my spirit of research and all these things. Then I called her and said, this is happened. I heard that my name has been sent for the, so what shall I do? And she said, nothing. What do you want to do? Finish my things. Finish there. So and then 26th January of that year,
Yeah.
in 2006, when I came back from Italy. Actually, I had gone for 4 days to Italy for my father. He was in the hospital, and in fact, after a few days, he went into coma and then he died. So I went, and it was good that I went because he was still
There,
away.
yeah.
And so I had gone for 4 days. I came back on 26th morning, and I was in the airport in Delhi waiting for the Bhubaneswar flight, and I got a ring, and somebody told me, congratulations. For what? I said, you got it? Then I was in the airport, so I went to see all the newspaper, and the Hindu newspaper was carrying all the names
Yeah.
of the things. I saw my name. So it was, when I reached here, I called back in Italy, and I told my mother and my father also. So my father could know that.
Yeah, you just did it. You have done like the best you could do with this.
Yeah.
It's the last question, and we'll end up with this. I really want to know about that. If you close your eyes and think of your entire journey, when you think about your entire journey, it's been a very adventurous roller coaster type of a journey. Is there a one memory that feels like very core to you? What's that one
Very
core to you, like very close,
close.
and it's a core of you, which is like defines you, who you are?
Defines me.
A memory, a moment, a story, anything can be like that.
Maybe the first thing which came to my mind now, it is the first time that I choreographed, and I was not as a performer, I was not as a guru, I was as a creator of something.
Oh.
And when the dancer, whom it was my first production, Maya Darpana, I was not part of it, and it was totally my choreography, which I immersed myself for 2 months totally in that project. And when it came on when it was represented on the stage the first time, I sat in the last row of the theater, very far, and I hardly was breathing for the entire play. It was 1 hour play, 1 hour production. And I remember that I changed my hairstyle because I said, today I am a choreographer.
Going with a different attitude.
Fine. And then when I went on the stage, I was there as a. So that was that the things which comes to my mind, and it was a further step ahead.
One thing we always ask our guests, and which is like, you have talked about, you have done a lot of things. You are a writer, you are a researcher, you are a philosopher, you are a PhD holder and dancer, and everybody knows about you that. But I want to know a human, a person beyond it. Who is Ileana when nobody's around? What do you like to do apart from all of this? When you're not writing, when you're not dancing, when you're not teaching, what are the small joys and what are the things you like to do?
I like to clean and from the plants, whatever has to be taken out, clean. From the pots, from the to if there is a major tree, then all the other things which are there, not to clean their surrounding.
Cleaning the wild roots.
Yeah, I like to touch the art. Like to do whatever it is related to art plants and
Yeah, we can see that it's a very beautiful garden you have built.
yeah, I'm very more than animals. I'm very close to the plants.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a honor to listen to your story and get to know about all these answers in like sitting here, and it's been an honor of me to share like a moment with you here. Thank you so much.
Namaskar.